Did you know your dirty car could be a silent killer? That's right, you heard me right. That pile of takeaway wrappers, that layer of dust on the dashboard, that greasy film on your windows. It's not just unsightly, it's a bloody health hazard. We're going to dive deep into the disgusting and downright dangerous world of dirty cars. Get ready to be disgusted because I'm about to show you how neglecting your vehicle's cleanliness could be putting you and everyone else on the road at risk. Let's talk about the air you breathe, shall we? Or should I say, the toxic fumes you're sucking down in your filthy car. That air filter, the one that's supposed to keep the air clean, it's probably clogged with more crap than a sewer. Dust mites, pollen, exhaust fumes, it's all getting trapped in there, turning your car into a mobile petri dish. And what happens when you breathe in that garbage fire of allergens and pollutants? Your respiratory system takes a battering, that's what. Allergies flare up, asthma acts up, and you're left gasping for air like a fish out of water. It's enough to make you sick, literally. So for the love of all that is holy, change your air filter. Don't be a lazy sod and let your car become a breeding ground for airborne illnesses. Now let's talk about those filthy windows of yours. You know, the ones you can barely see out of because they're covered in grime, streaks, and the remnants of dead bugs. They're not just disgusting, they're a bloody accident waiting to happen. Driving with dirty windows is like wearing a blindfold. You're severely limiting your visibility and putting yourself and others in danger. Every smudge, every streak, every splattered insect reduces your ability to see clearly. You miss crucial details, misjudge distances, and react slower to hazards. And in a split-second decision, that can be the difference between a near miss and a catastrophic collision. Don't be a menace on the road. Clean your bloody windows. Speaking of visibility, let's not forget the most important window in your car, the windshield. A dirty windshield is bad enough during the day, but at night it becomes a recipe for disaster. Remember those streaks and smudges I yelled about earlier? They scatter and diffract light, creating a blinding glare that can make it nearly impossible to see. Headlights become halos of blinding light, streetlights turn into shimmering orbs, and oncoming traffic appears out of nowhere. It's like driving through a disco ball explosion. And don't even get me started on driving in the rain with a dirty windshield. The water clings to the dirt and grime, creating an opaque film that turns the road ahead into an indistinguishable blur. You're essentially driving blind, and that's a one-way ticket to a crash course in disaster. Now let's move on to the landfill you call a car interior. You might think that the clutter in your car is just an eyesore, but it's much more than that. It's a ticking time bomb waiting to go off. That empty coffee cup, those crumpled receipts, that loose change rattling around, they may seem harmless, but in an accident, they become deadly projectiles. You see, in the event of a sudden stop or collision, these seemingly benign items can turn into lethal weapons. Imagine this, you're in a collision, even a minor one. The force of the impact sends everything in your car flying forward with the force of a bloody bull. It's not just the big items you need to worry about. Even the smallest objects can cause serious harm. So even that innocent-looking water bottle becomes a battering ram, that forgotten pen transforms into a deadly spear, and that loose change turns into a hailstorm of shrapnel. That innocent-looking phone becomes a flying brick, capable of causing significant injury. Imagine it hitting you or a passenger at high speed. The damage can be catastrophic. And that loose change turns into a hailstorm of shrapnel. Each coin, small and seemingly insignificant, can cause cuts, bruises, and even more severe injuries when propelled by the force of a crash. And where does all this flying debris end up? You guessed it, embedded in your skull, lodged in your chest, or impaled in your limbs. The injuries sustained from these projectiles can range from minor cuts and bruises to severe, life-altering damage. It's a risk not worth taking. So, for the love of all that is safe, clean out your car, take a few minutes to remove the clutter. It's a small effort that can make a huge difference in your safety and the safety of your passengers. Get rid of the clutter, secure loose objects, and turn your death trap into a haven of safety. Use storage solutions like car organizers and secure any loose items. Make it a habit to regularly clean and organize your car interior. Organizing your car can be a lifesaver. It'll help keep everything in its place, reducing the risk of items becoming projectiles in an accident. Invest in staying organized and do it when it's needed. By taking these simple steps, you can transform your car from a potential hazard into a safe and organized space. Your family and passengers will thank you, and you'll have peace of mind knowing you've done everything you can to ensure their safety. Remember, safety starts with you. A clean and organized car is not just about aesthetics, it's about protecting lives. So take action today and make your car a safer place for everyone. Don't wait for an accident to realize the importance of a clutter-free car. Start now and make it a habit. Your life and the lives of your loved ones depend on it. Now let's talk about the silent killer lurking in the shadows of your filthy car. Mold and bacteria. You can't always see them, but they're there, multiplying in the dark, damp corners of your vehicle. Spilled drinks, food crumbs, wet shoes. They all create the perfect breeding ground for these microscopic monsters. And once they take hold, they're harder to get rid of than a bad case of the flu. Mold and bacteria release spores into the air, and every breath you take in that contaminated environment is a gamble with your health. Respiratory problems, allergies, skin irritations, these are just a few of the delightful symptoms you can look forward to. And if you're already susceptible to allergies or have a compromised immune system, a mold-infested car can be a recipe for disaster. Let's talk about clutter, shall we? That mountain of clothes on the back seat, that stack of papers obscuring the dashboard, that jumble of junk in the footwell. It's not just unsightly, it's a bloody hazard. In an emergency, every second counts. You need to be able to react quickly and decisively. But what happens when you're surrounded by chaos? You can't find your seatbelt. You can't reach the emergency brake. You can't even find your bloody phone to call for help. It's a recipe for disaster, and you're the one holding the recipe book. So clear the clutter. Create a clean and organized space where you can access everything you need in a heartbeat. Now let's talk about those headlights of yours. You know, the ones that are supposed to illuminate the road ahead and prevent you from driving blind into the abyss. Well, if they're covered in dirt, grime, and the remnants of 1,000 insect massacres, they're about as effective as a pair of dimly lit candles. Dirty headlights scatter and absorb light, reducing their effectiveness and making it harder for you to see and be seen. Driving at night becomes a game of chance, with you blindly navigating the darkness, hoping you don't collide with an unsuspecting obstacle or pedestrian. And don't even get me started on driving in fog or rain with dirty headlights. The light reflects off the moisture and dirt, creating a blinding glare that further reduces visibility. It's like driving into a wall of cotton wool, except the wall is made of your own stupidity. Let's talk about that rust, that insidious little bugger that eats away at your car's metal like a starving termite colony. You might not think a little bit of rust is a big deal, but you'd be wrong. Rust is like a cancer, slowly but surely weakening your car's structural integrity. It starts small, a few specks here and there, but left unchecked, it spreads like wildfire, compromising the strength and stability of your vehicle. And trust me, you don't want to be driving around in a rust bucket when you have an accident. The metal crumbles like a stale biscuit, offering little to no protection in a collision. So, keep your car clean, check for rust regularly, and address any issues soon as possible. Now let's talk about the heart of your car, the engine. You wouldn't neglect your own heart, would you? So why treat your car's engine any differently? A dirty engine is a ticking time bomb. Dirt, grime, and oil buildup act as insulators, trapping heat and preventing the engine from cooling properly. This can lead to overheating, reduced performance, and in extreme cases, complete engine failure. And trust me, you don't want to be stranded on the side of the road with a seized engine, especially if you're in the middle of nowhere with no cell service. It's not just inconvenient, it's downright dangerous. Let's talk about technology, shall we? These days, cars are packed with more sensors and cameras than a spy satellite. They're designed to keep you safe, but they can't do their job if they're blinded by filth. A dirty car is a sensor's worst nightmare. Dirt, grime, and even bird droppings can obscure the lenses, preventing them from functioning properly. Your lane departure warning system might not see the lane markings. Your automatic emergency braking might not detect the obstacle ahead, and your adaptive cruise control might not see the car in front of you slowing down. It's a recipe for disaster, and you're the one holding the steering wheel. So keep your car clean, especially the sensors and cameras. There you have it, you dirty driver. The shocking truth about the dangers of a dirty car. From breathing problems to life-threatening accidents, the consequences of neglecting your vehicle's cleanliness can be downright disastrous, but it doesn't have to be this way. A little bit of effort goes a long way. Make it a habit to clean your car regularly, inside and out. Wash the exterior, clean the windows, vacuum the interior, and don't forget to show some love to your engine. Remember, a clean car is a safe car. It's not just about aesthetics. It's about protecting yourself, your passengers, and everyone else on the road. Stay safe, keep clean, and drive smart.